Ladies and gentlemen, filmmakers and moviegoers alike, welcome to this week's episode of Quickly Casual, where I'm apparently not sitting in the right spot. And Dev's here. Say hi, Dev.
Hi.
Hi, Dev. How are you doing today?
Doing all right. Sorry, I'm fiddling around with something.
Fiddling around with something. That's cool, I guess.
We have an Instagram now, so I'm using it.
Ah, yes. I guess we should probably use that every once in a while. Did we ever give the keys to that castle to our social media manager?
Yep. She has it.
Okay, good.
Yep.
If only we were around each other so she could use that more often. Oh well. Well, do you have anything you want to say or do before we start talking about today's show?
No, not really. Nope.
No?
Nope, not anything. I'm useless here in this thing. Hold on. Sorry, I'm just, I'm doing the thing that I should be doing.
Yeah, you're absolutely doing the thing that you should be doing. Hang on, let me move my hair into my face. Big ol' smiles.
This is how we do. No, that's not how we do video.
No.
That's how we do video.
Yeah, we're on video. Hooray! Hooray! Instagram.
Go check us out on hard.
Did your eyes just
Twitter,
cross?
twitch.tv/hard. HQ. God damn it.
Are you gonna have to do that again?
No. I'm an idiot. Let's not talk about it.
Okay. Well, in that case, let's just start talking about today's show. Which, today's show is... I've just decided to call it Let It Snow. Because I'm clever.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Good enough.
I was expecting an actual insult, so...
No, I mean, I'll give you this time.
Yeah.
It might actually snow here this week, which pisses me off, so...
Congratulations. It's raining
I don't
where
want
live.
it. No. I don't want the snow. You don't get it.
I love
Snow isn't great.
I miss snow.
Snow looks cool.
I lived in snow for 4 years, thank you. Well, maybe
No, I'm
5.
saying snow looks cool, but then you deal with the consequences.
Slipping, falling, having to shovel it up.
People not knowing how to fucking drive.
That only really sucks if you are a delivery driver, which I was.
Or just trying to get to work.
Alright, I guess that's true. Well, let's talk about our show of Let It Snow, which is just Frozen and Frozen 2. So,
Yep.
I guess what special stuff indeed, maybe. Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, let's talk about it. We're hopping into Frozen. So yeah, Frozen.
Yeah. Yeah.
This movie, I didn't realize that this movie came out 6 years ago.
Yeah, it does not feel that long ago.
No, it really doesn't.
It came out when I was still in high school, right? Or right after high school? Right after high school, yeah. I remember it because my friend's now wife, her niece, was obsessed with this shit. We lived together during this time.
Mm-hmm.
Or right before this time. I don't remember. I was over at his place during this time. That's right. Yeah. So this was... Yeah.
That was informative. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just... It was popular.
Yeah, it was just Frozen all the time.
Oh, yeah. Whenever she was around... little niece, it was Frozen time. It was just, that's all it was. Yeah. Honestly, I know we make fun of this movie a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that bad of a film.
No,
It's not even I can't even say it's a bad film. It's a good film. Just once you hear the song 1,000 times.
Yeah, that was the worst part of it. It was just the song was overplayed.
Really was. And you need something to take vengeance against it. The movie, in all honesty, is a really good Disney movie. I still think Tangled is better. Personal opinion.
Okay, I'll allow that.
But it's not a bad movie.
No. Yeah, like when I watched this movie, because I watched it again today, I definitely would think I enjoyed this film quite a bit. It like it's all in all, I'd say that it has some folly here and there. Like it's a little cheesy at times. Some of it's a little predictable, but at other times I actually really enjoy it. Like there's a lot of subtlety in the animations that I hadn't really noticed before. Like especially in the open door, "Love Is an Open Door" song, or just minor things when it comes to just the detail in the animations. But at the same time, and like the music, probably the best part of this by far. I mean, that's why it became extremely popular. "Let It Go" was the most popular song, for sure, for a reason. But I just, I would say, on a level, like, I don't know, it's just kids movie, I guess. You know, it was good, it was fine, it was entertaining, but that was just about it. I can't.
Then
really
we have to grade it against other kids films that we've watched.
Mm-hmm. And we've seen some pretty good kids films.
We have. We can also kind of grade it to how we feel about Disney films. And we've talked about other Disney films. We haven't really rated any Disney films that weren't live action. But we've talked about them at length. Especially Aladdin, especially Lion King. You already know my opinions on those two films. Fucking fight me. I love them. I don't like their live action forms, though, as much. Well, Aladdin's not terrible. It's just got that really weird scene that me and Simon both agree was just really weird. But like, you know, like compared to other Disney films, it's you know, it's I'd say it's suitable for its audience. And it's better than a lot of the classic princess tales too.
Mm-hmm. Especially because, I mean, you have to admit too that this is definitely overall the ending, how it ends with like its themes is, I'd say, overall much better than other movies where just like, of course, love saves the day, but it's the kind of love that matters. And
yes,
this story tells it a little bit differently, of course. And the moral of this movie is pretty heartening at times. So at least I will
say they tell the family love aspect better than Maleficent did.
That's true. That's quite a bit true.
So you know, there's that. My other opinion on it too is like it does everything a kids film needs to do, which is how I would grade it. You know, it's like it hits all the things a kids film should do. It has a moral aspect. It asks questions, but it resolves the questions that it asks. And the characters progress in a way that is morally true. And you know, it's entertaining. It keeps kids glued in their fucking seats.
That's for sure.
Like, which is tough. Like, making a movie for kids is tough. We haven't really talked about this before, but they don't have attention spans.
Why do you think kids' movies are always so poorly constructed plot movies where it's just like, we're here, we're there, we're here? What? Have you seen Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
Do you remember Angry Birds, too?
Yes,
when we watched that? That was very much we're here. Here's the subplot that I really enjoyed, which for some fucking god-awful reason, I enjoyed that subplot.
Just we had to cut away from the main story, fill in the time in between. But hey, it was the
it
best
worked
story.
Way better. It really was. God damn it. This one doesn't need to do all of that because it actually is entertaining enough with its main plot.
I mean, and there's also side stories too. Like, there's a bunch of character growth in this movie.
Yeah, but all the side stories are all part of the same story. Is the other thing too. You know what I mean?
I guess that's true.
Like there isn't just a random side story. It all is intertwined together. You could say it's tangled together.
That's funny because she shows up in this movie.
Like it's not a bad film in my opinion. I can't say it's a bad film, like at all. I think it went from being painfully played to now being more of a meme, which makes it easier to process that song. Part of me wishes I would have like when that song came up, I wanted to just go back to the clip of me singing it on Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, I bet that was lovely. I wasn't
That's
there for it. I never watched your Kingdom Hearts playthrough because I still haven't played Kingdom Hearts 3.
fair.
And you also haven't
Um,
finished your Kingdom Hearts 3 playthrough.
yeah, I did.
You did?
I beat it.
I'm
Yeah, I beat the
impressed.
story. Yeah, I beat the story.
Alright.
I haven't done any of the new stuff and gone through and done all of the side quests. I beat the story though. That's what mattered. And man, it was not worth the 13 years. I can say that with a lot of heart, being like it wasn't worth it. So I don't know if I'll get 4 if it comes out. Um, like I don't know. This movie isn't bad. It's animated really well too. Like snow is not easy to animate, and they animate it really well in this. And I guess my biggest problem with it is that this is the movie that solidified where Disney animation was going to go.
Mm-hmm. It's
Because I
very
missed
much
the
the
2D.
smooth and polished and like
Yeah,
reds and curves and yeah.
and it looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. It gives Pixar like competition. The problem is the competition is in house, so no matter what, Disney makes fucking money. Um,
Yeah, Disney, Pixar, and Disney. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I mean, sure, technically Pixar's its own thing now a little bit, but like,
it's still owned by Disney.
yeah.
Um,
And all their
I mean,
movies look
DreamWorks
exactly
does
the same.
DreamWorks does a great job of animation too. Like I can tell each of the 3 major studios apart really well, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because each one has distinct features they do in their films. Like, um, with Pixar, the faces are a little bit longer. With DreamWorks, they're the way light transfers through like hair and stuff like that is a little bit different than the way Disney does it, but they each have similar facial structures to their characters,
Mm-hmm.
at least humanoid ones. But again, this just goes to show like 3D animation's really come a long way. I do still miss the era of 2D animation.
I mean, didn't Disney announce fairly recently that they're going to start doing hand-drawn animation again? Not too
I
long
would
ago.
love that. Honestly,
I mean, who knows? Not I, unless I actually spend the time to look it up. But I'm not going to, since we're supposed to be talking about Frozen. But
that's fair. But I think that's my biggest complaint about the film is that it isn't a 2D animated film, but it doesn't need to be. It wasn't going to be. But the Disney I grew up with was 2D animation, so like there's always that part of me that like harkens back to those days, you know, of Mulan, of you know, Aladdin, Lion King, all of those.
it's we just need to get the I think it was the Austin office of Disney reopened, which did Treasure Planet and uh, um, you know the underwater Atlantis.
Oh yeah.
Like all those.
And
other,
those 2 films.
there was at least one more in there too that I'm thinking of, but I can't place right now.
Those 2 films were better than what they've got received, but they are still somewhat messy.
Yeah.
Treasure Planet is like that one that everyone like, oh yeah, Treasure Planet was so awesome, even though no one saw it. And then you watch it, you're kind of like,
Oh yeah.
right,
Nostalgia. Hmm.
bittersweet memories.
Yeah. Nostalgia goggles and beer goggles are pretty similar.
They really are. Um, so you know, like I miss 2D animation. But again, this film does a great job of its animation. It makes things feel very distinct. You can tell what's going on. There's never a moment that like the animation feels off. Like the physics feel good. Like the way things move around, everything feels good going through this film.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that's important with animation. You don't want it to like. You don't want it to stick out unless its purpose is to stick out, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way to put it. So I don't know. That's what I gotta say about the animation. Acting is good too.
Yeah, voice acting is great. Excuse me, sorry, a little burp. Um, my high chasing. Um, let's see. I have. What did you think about the color when it came to emotion? I mean, technically, only one person had that, and that was Elsa, because this was her movie, of course. But like, what did you think about their use of color in this film?
A lot of blue.
Lots of blue, of course, because ice and snow and stuff. But there was also reds and yellows and
Pinks.
yes,
Purplish pinks, I'd say.
yeah,
Magentas?
but I'd still say those were more related to like her being comfortable and confident with herself a little bit.
I know. I saw the purples more when she was going through the like gain control moments. Purple was associated with that. Like when the eyes changed purple, that was get control, don't let it show kind of thing. Repress, repress, repress. And this movie has a good job of being like, hey, don't just repress yourself. That's not healthy. It doesn't end well. Even if people think it's doing the right thing, it's not. And like her parents have all the best of intentions, to be honest, because they don't want her to get hurt. They don't want her, end up being called a monster or anything. Because the trolls don't exactly help with this either.
No, they don't. I mean, they tell them what to do. They do something that's pretty opposite of it. So it's not really the trolls' fault, but at the same time, it could be.
The trolls also go like, if it's not controlled, the people will think she's a monster. And the parents are like, shit, I don't want my daughter to be seen as a monster. They become scared parents.
Yeah, but he literally says, don't let fear ruin you or whatever. Like, he essentially says that fear will be her downfall, and they're like, hide it. You can't show it. You have to be afraid of your power. Oh, I mean, they don't say it literally, but that's how it translates to a little child. So.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is like, I think the fear was of other people. Fear would be her downfall, is how the troll was putting it.
I always read it more as her own fear, but
well, the way the image changes to people being red and angry and afraid of the Frankenstein monster kind of vibe. That's how I read it, but then it translates into their own fear of her getting hurt, which is understandable as a parent. Like, it's an understandable trait to have as a parent. You're like, I don't want my daughter to get hurt. Like, I don't know a parent who doesn't have that fear.
No, yeah. But I read it more as it was Elsa's fear that would be the cause of everything. So,
that's fair.
It was.
It was. It was. It could be that, like, the troll said one and really, or, like, read into it as one and it really was the other. Magic's weird.
I was about to say, yeah. You never trust the words of a scry or a shaman.
Yeah, pretty much.
Zoltar has all the answers.
Hey, listen, you don't make fun of fucking Zoltar, alright? Don't make it big and shit.
I have a Zoltar at my movie theater, and I never
use it. Every time I see a Zoltan machine, I'm like, I have to. I have to put money into it. It's just this impulse because I grew up watching Big, so it's like, as soon as I see it, money goes in, Zoltan card comes out. I have a small like collection of them somewhere.
Well, if you ever come to visit me, I'll bring you to Zoltan.
Yes. There's one in Seattle that I go to down at Pike's Place Market. It's on the inside part of the buildings, and I just whenever I see it, it's like I know I've gotten a card from you already. I don't know if I need another card from you, but if I got the cash,
fortunes are high today, baby. Let me.
That's not why. I know that, like, I know it's all bullshit, but it's really cool because it's a cool little machine, and it's the part of my life that I grew up watching that silly film. On a different note, though, this movie's really good. And don't trust shamans. That's the thing, especially rock shamans that are like trust the trolls, I guess, a little because they're kind of right, but I think they created a self-fulfilling prophecy
in ways, yes.
Which is kind of how that stuff goes.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you, Dev, for your rating by giving you 10 popcorn kernels here.
Okay. Am I giving an 8?
An 8?
I think it's an 8. Yeah, kids film wise, it's an 8. Maybe an 8.5.
Okay. I could see that. I could definitely see that. I was more or less gonna give this film myself a 7. I'll say 7.5 because
Fair
it
enough.
was the biggest selling kids movie of all times. It was okay. It was just way overplayed, way too popular.
I think that's part of our problem with it. It was really overplayed, but I mean, it resonates with a lot of people.
Hmm.
So, like for me, giving it under 8, that I can't really do that because the amount of people I know who are also adults in this film still resonates with them.
Hmm.
Like it does its job well. So a solid 8. It's not a solid 8. It's a rounded 8. Is that a rounded 8?
I think that would be a rounded. I mean, most
Yeah,
eights
rounded.
are rounded, Dev, technically, but
Shut up. There's because we got our system. There's solids, rounds, and splits. This is a round.
okay. I understand. You're not wrong. Oh Jesus, we're so strange.
We didn't really talk much about the cast. Cast is pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Alan Tudyk's in the cast, so like automatic points.
I mean, I have to say, like, my favorite thing, Calculon, the father.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's Calculon, man. I mean, I like Futurama, so I mean,
Fair enough.
enjoy a good old solid Calculon. I mean, but you're not wrong. Pretty much every part of this movie was good, and the voice acting especially. I'm trying to think of anyone who I didn't. I mean, overall, my least favorite character out of all of this stuff was Olaf, and it's just because I'm a bitter old man on the inside. So
That's fair. Also, god damn it, Josh Gad is just like way super energetic. Get it? There's that. I guess there's the old man versions of us that are just like bitter. How are you so happy? Um, so that's fair.
apparently, last night when I was streaming, doing the thing that I did, I almost made Dragon vomit because I was like, this is how I have to act when I'm at work, and I'm like peppy, happy go lucky for like all of 1 minute, and she's like,
I see.
Okay.
I was there for that.
Yeah.
Over on Twitch TV /Srekcuf.
It's okay. I don't stream often enough to promote my channel.
Fuck it, it was there. Shut up. Dang it.
Okay. Well, I enough of this original 6-year-old story. Let's talk about this. I'm starting my review right now. Let's talk about this unoriginal, brand new story.
Yeah, can we talk about that? Elsa just kind of goes through Moana's story a little bit, right?
I guess in a way, yes.
The in the popular song from this is "Into the Unknown," which reminds me so goddamn much of "The Sea Calling Me." I can't remember the name of that song. It calls me, and I know.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah.
I don't know how far it goes.
Yeah, I don't know the song, but I haven't watched Moana enough to know that song. But
It calls me.
I feel like it calls me. The more I know,
Probably.
and how far I'll go, and see in the mood, it's shy,
Signs.
mumbling.
That is this version. Which, by the way, when the credits play, there's a Brendan Urie cover of it, and I was like, motherfucker, I'm gonna have to listen to that.
So I'd say I genuinely loved the credits, and just overall, my favorite part of this movie had to be the music. It was very well orchestrated, and like it sounded lovely most of the time. It didn't always have a powerful message, but it was very well made music, 100%.
Yes.
That is my favorite.
There were
part of
almost
this movie.
some like I gotta double check and see if Lin Mal Miranda helped write that one because it sounds very similar to a song he would make, like the beat and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So at least that's my personal opinion. I think it sounds, which isn't a bad thing.
It sounds what, Dev?
It sounds like something he would have made. Um, so he did the music for Moana.
Yeah.
So that's why part of me is like, I sort of recognize it. So I'm actually looking it up right now. Um, see, I don't see his name, so maybe he wasn't.
Maybe not.
Or maybe it's just the way music for Disney's gonna go going forward.
Yeah, it just all sounds the same. I mean, if we were to grab the brand new Aladdin song, some Moana song, some of the new Frozen songs, and if we didn't know they were from a specific movie, do you think we could tell them apart? Like, does that have to be a thing we do one of these days? Is like, are we, when we're living together, are we going to have to go out in public and be like, hey, can you tell us what this movie came from as a non-Disney listener?
This song came from.
Yeah, sorry.
Dude, I would do that. Like Bill on the Street or whatever his name is.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
That'd be great. What movie did this song come from? Maybe. But like also the other thing about this one is that like it's much more of a musical than the first one.
I wouldn't even. Well, yes, it is much more of a musical. It's to the part where it's not even like a good musical. Where in the first movie, where the music when it happens, it at least progresses the story in a way. But in this movie, the story doesn't progress with the music. The music's just there for us. Yeah, for us, the audience. So there's been many times when I was sitting there and the song was playing, and I was like, I understand that this is Frozen and you have very good singing voice actors or whatever, but God, you could have portrayed this in 2 or 3 lines, and we could have gone on at this point. Something more interesting in the story. And
no, I do gotta say, someone pointed out if Jonathan Groff is in anything, he has to do like a boy band cover in everything he does going forward because of his one song.
Krista, oh yes.
That started, and I audibly giggled, and people in the theater audibly giggled, both because of the cringe.
It was all cringe. That's all it was.
Uh oh.
Hi, Dev.
Yeah. Hi. Both because of the cringe and because it was just like, are they really doing this?
That was the part that really got me, honestly. It was the cringe there that really had me thinking, are any of these songs important to the story? And kind of. They're important.
If it's Anna and Elsa, it's important.
I guess yes. I was more thinking it was the songs were more important to the character, but not to the overarching story or the plot line.
Yeah, it was more to their character development, and 2 of the characters in this movie don't really have character development, so their 2 songs are very just like there.
So I'd say, I mean,
one of them literally pulls a Jasmine and pauses the movie for their song.
Yeah, he does.
That happened, and I was like, "Holy shit!" They're doing the same thing they did with Aladdin, the live action. They're pausing the movie so we can have this break of song, motherfucker. No.
And they also do some like yada yada time stuff and like circumstantial. This person's fine, or like this is intense and dramatic because it needs to be, so we can wrap up the story finally, and like. Sorry, I'm pausing my communication because I think everything just froze. Yeah. Discord can't reconnect. Things are falling apart. The stream's still fine. But I'm going to disconnect from Discord here for a second. And then start the call again. Hello?
Hello, Kansa.
Hello.
Oh my god, that was a lot of you for a second there. Hello, Kansa. How are you doing? No, yeah, the music isn't bad and the story isn't bad. It just, I feel like its problem is that it pulls some of the stuff the Aladdin movie, like some of the problems we had with the Aladdin live action, which is that the music doesn't always progress things.
I mean, I'm just in general disappointed by this movie as a whole because like the music doesn't progress the story. The music's just there for us as fans. The story itself isn't really important as a whole either. The characters, what happens to them, doesn't really matter at any point. I mean, like really honestly doesn't really matter what happens to any of the characters because it's all just easily reversed or turned around or like just
Yeah, there's no
yada
real
yada.
stakes. It's
Yeah.
really just this movie is mostly just a character. It's trying to be a character-driven story, and it's not bad. Like
I think
I'm saying, it's not bad.
in,
It's a kids' film.
yeah, I like here's the part. Like I think just at the moment I'm just pretty disappointed by this. So I'm going to judge it pretty harshly because
Fair. I'm more going to point out the fact that like the story it does try to tell, at least through Elsa, is good because it does tell a story of personal growth and getting past stuff, and dealing with the fact that her character does have a lot of trauma through how she grew up. And it's inner trauma that she hasn't dealt with yet, and now she's queen. Is she really able to deal with that? And Anna's story is about being able to like how far are you willing to go for family, and is that the right thing in some cases?
I feel
Like
like
in the
sorry,
Go ahead.
on the story to me feels a little more like growing to be more dependent and independent. I mean,
Well, I don't really see hers as being independent. It's more that like, 'cause she's pretty independent on her own already, in my opinion. It's just she needs to be. Her story is about being able to, funny enough, let it go. Um,
it's
So-
about change. So
yeah, it really. This movie is about change. It's drilled into your fucking brain through all of every
Yeah,
goddamn line.
yeah, I mean that's the one thing that I did kind of appreciate in one way about this film is it's 6 years older and it addresses like the audience is 6 years older, so it addresses some slightly more mature things. Like
It does.
you were probably 8 when you first watched. Like for the most casual audience for this film, they were probably 8 years old, and then 6 years later they're 14, so they're starting to go through puberty. Their bodies are changing. Things are weird now for those people, so they have to tell stories about changing and adulting and becoming more mature. So I kind of appreciate that in some way that they tried, but I just feel like the attempt wasn't made well enough. Just as a whole for this film, just music was great. Everything else was just subpar. I mean,
Yeah,
not
I
the
don't know if it
acting.
was-
I'll be honest about that. The acting was fine too, but
I think the problem with the movie is that there's a lot of fluff in this film that can get shaved and changed around better. This this sequel is very much Disney just being like, open your wallets.
yes, this I was about to say it's sequel bait. It's made because Frozen was like their most popular child's cartoon in a long time, so they needed to follow it up to make more money.
Yeah.
And that's how it feels to me, honestly. Like they didn't put nearly as much thought into this movie, and to me, I can kind of tell. Like, sure, it
No,
took
I
forever,
agree. I
but-
can agree with that. Where I do disagree is that there is some good story moments in it. Like I genuinely believe Elsa's arc through the film. Because something's calling her. And she doesn't know how far she'll go. It's really easy to make Disney jokes, you know. The problem I have with it is that they've already told this story or a similar enough story with Moana that like, and I like Moana more personally. So like it's how you look at it, I guess. Like it's tough to nail down for me at least where for me it falls apart, other than the fact that it has a lot of fluff. Olaf's song in this, like, yeah, his other one is kind of fluff in the other one, but this one is straight up just thrown in there for being in their sake.
Oh yeah, definitely. They need an Olaf song for him for sure.
Yeah, and they couldn't find a way to write him into the plot.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of feels the same way for Kristoff and his song. Like, don't get me wrong, his story arc was a little more relevant in the movie for him, but like his song also didn't really have much relevance. It was just a song
No,
for him.
it really was. And the problem with his arc too is we've seen it done 1,000 times in rom-coms that like, especially 90s rom-coms, that the whole thing is kind of like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
um, and like we get introduced to a lot of new characters who just kind of show up for a few scenes and then do something towards the like one of them does something towards the end of the movie.
I was about to say, yeah, all the main like all the new characters that we met in this movie were needed for one moment in the film, which
Yes,
those are the worst kind of characters for me. Like, especially the soldier people that like they. I would have
which
been.
by the way, Sterling K. Brown can do no wrong in my opinion.
Mhm.
The man like he comes on his character comes on a screen and starts talking. I'm like, God damn, that's Sterling K. Brown.
And
That just that voice, you're like, yeah, he was in The Predator. We reviewed that movie.
And like, don't get me wrong, the voice actors and everything were great, but his character of Matthias was honestly one of the most unneeded in this film, and it was only needed to cause a little bit more conflict and drama, and like conflict slash drama at the end of the film. Like that was the only point he was there.
Yeah, pretty much.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just I feel like honestly I've said all that I can really say. Like I like good parts of this movie. I really do. There are a lot of good things in this movie, mainly the music and the acting. But overall, I'm just disappointed because it just feels to me like an overall lack of effort.
No, I agree. I agree because it does feel just like a cash in.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest problem, which was kind of what killed Disney's like last renaissance. Was their just cash grabbiness towards films. So them kind of doing the same thing again, where they're falling for their same tricks.
I was about to say, yeah, this is a shitty sequel, Disney sequel, which we've seen plenty of.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's shitty. It's just subpar compared to the other one. Like I think Frozen 1's just better,
By far,
like overall.
to me.
And it's not like, and that's, again, it's not us saying that there's nothing good in this film.
No.
It's just it could have just been its own film on a straight to DVD release or ABC special.
Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like if they actually spent the time to make another original film, like they did with Frozen, because when Frozen first came out, I mean, sure, it might not have been an original story per se, but the way they told it was pretty fascinating, and it was new characters, and it was really cool. If they had done that again with another Disney princess, introduced us to somebody new, they could have done it no problem. They're Disney, they can do whatever they want. But they decided that they were going to make a Frozen sequel, and they thought, we're Disney, we can do whatever we want, and it didn't come out that good.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, they didn't put as much care as they put in the first one. I think that's the biggest problem with it. Because everything else, I gotta say, animation wise, holy shit, this movie's stunning.
Yeah, that definitely was one. Like, there was definitely a moment in the film where, like, the water graphics and the water.
Oh my
I was
God.
like, and the rain and things. I genuinely thought, is this live action? Just for at least one or two moments.
Yeah, no, like it, like from just a purely animation standpoint. My God, this movie, like its physics of its world is just fucking beautiful. Is the best way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's beyond beautiful. So going like Disney, keep animating like this, all right, you'll stand out. You've got some good stuff going on. Not that your animation's ever really been bad. It's just, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's not bad. Let's watch that. Because it looks animated cool. But I mean, that's just how it is. I don't know. I think animation is probably its strongest suit in this film.
Mm-hmm. That either that or the like. It's hard. Like I hate to say it. Like the music, honestly, was the best part to me, followed by the animation. It's just that the music didn't progress the story.
I
So.
think that's where I dock the music points, though.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's why I would put the music on. Like, and also I'm a sucker for animation. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Always have been. And you are more of a sucker for music.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I would put the animation above it just because it the animation just is flawless throughout the
Mm-hmm.
film. And it definitely like we talked about this with other films, like seeing a studio's animation progression
Mm-hmm.
is always awesome. At least with 3D animation, there will be a point where it's just like Jesus Christ, I can't tell these apart. Um,
So there's
and
one
I
moment I want to talk about when you're done. So go ahead.
but I will always admire that, so that's why I will put it above the music because the music also doesn't,
Yeah.
always work out. So, you know.
Oh, I get you. But speaking of animation and things, the one moment that I remember very vividly in this movie, I'm not going to go into too much spoilers about it, but Elsa gets a new hairdo.
Yes.
And the only reason I remember this vividly is because my theater was filled with children, and all the girls were like, oh, she's beautiful! And the reason why that sticks out to me is only because in this movie they managed to go into much better detail with the animation. Because in this movie, she could actually run her hands through the hair and have individual hairs, compared to the last movie when she releases her hair and she runs her hand through a braid and the braid still sticks there. No problem.
That's fair. I don't know if she ran her hands through the braid. I think
When
she ran it under.
Yeah, she kind of like it's. I guess it really depends on how you look into it, but it just to me it looks like when she's unraveling her hair, she like pulls her hand through the braid, but it's still just it's a braid, but it's just a looser braid, you know.
Fair.
And in this movie, she's like, and then she just has full hair.
She just lets it go.
Yeah. She's metamorphosized for a second time.
Well, I mean, again, that does show character development in a visual way too.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a moment that her character really was going to change. So, from a storytelling point, that is a really good moment because it visually shows the audience too that hey, this character is changing going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Like once this happens, there's not really a go back. So, and I mean, they do some of that too with the beginning of this film that they transfer from the first film is that Elsa does start in purple.
Mm-hmm. She starts in her last outfit, basically.
And yeah, she starts in a very purple outfit, which signified that repression that she had. So, like, her starting in that tells you that this character is going to go through a lot of change. And, through the middle of the film, she's in her blue, which was where she was last film.
Mm-hmm.
On that adventure she went through. It wasn't really an adventure. It was more her learning to be herself adventure. Mm-hmm. So this was her being able to be that. Like, because she's not worried about her powers and stuff like that with people. And then the end of the film, she starts in a different getup, a different hairstyle. Everything kind of changes again.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows that. It's a visual change. Because we get to see both forms of Elsa towards the beginning of the film. And at the end, we see the new Elsa. So, from a visual standpoint, the storytelling is really good.
I'd give you that, yeah.
That's also why I give the story more credit than it probably deserves in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
Because from a visual standpoint, it does a fantastic job.
Mm-hmm.
Does it do a great job from a writing standpoint?
Yeah. It's just like, there are good things in this movie for sure, as you said. It's just like, I don't know. I can't, like, in the last movie, there was a lot more good things. In Frozen, the original, to me, because they, like, It's just it seems like they like I said they cared more, so they tried a little harder, and all things worked out better. And in this movie, it's just they didn't try as hard for the plot, so it didn't all make sense. The music they didn't try to make it match into the things like into the story better, so it doesn't really match well. So even though the animation and how they tell their story through showing and like animating is pretty darn good, it's just to me it doesn't quite bring it up enough.
That's fair. That's also fair.
I'm just being a bitter old man who had to sit next to a bunch of kids who couldn't sit down and shut up. I'm there for business. I'm watching this for a movie podcast, damn it. Not because I want to watch this. And there they are talking to their friends in the row in front of them.
Fair enough. That's fair.
So, Dev.
Yes. I'll give you your 10 popcorns.
I actually had one other question.
Go for it.
Were you at all disappointed, like I was, which is probably no, by the fact that the movie, like Elsa's first song, kind of gives away all the major plot points in the film?
No.
Okay.
Because it's a kid's film.
Yeah. I figured, but still thought I'd ask.
Fair enough.
Okay, can I have my popcorns again, please?
Yeah, here's your 10 popcorns.
Cool. I'm going to be a bitter old man and give this movie a 6.5.
Fair enough.
Like,
I'm going to give it...
Go ahead. I was about to say, don't get me wrong. Very much above standard when it comes to the music and the animation. It's just the story and the morals and how this music was thrown in there, just not good enough. Like we've said enough times. So I'm gonna be grumpy about it and give it a 6.5. If I want to be nice and give it the bonus child's movie point, it's a 7.5. So it's the same as the first movie. But the first movie in that case would be like an 8.5 for me. So
fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a 7.5 because it's not as good as the other one, or probably a 7, honestly. Because it's not as good as the first one, but I still, from just an animation and voice acting standpoint, it does a lot of good stuff. Mm-hmm. And from a visual storytelling point, it does a fantastic job, and the music is good. It's not always plot relevant, though, which is the problem. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what they do going forward, Disney wise. So we'll see.
We will see.
Yeah.
Too bad Frozen 2 is a huge hit in the box office.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's go into. Can you hit the button, Dev? Let me set it to that setting, and then I can
just realize it wasn't on the right setting.
Hang on, let me switch over. Okay.
Let's get ready to spoiler!
Oh, whatever. I tried.
Got it.
Nice. All right. So, anybody who doesn't want to have Frozen 2 spoiled for them, now is your chance to get on, skedaddle on out of here. Thanks for stopping by. But, let's talk about Frozen 2 spoilers, Dev.
Let's. Man, the whole her being the fifth spirit.
I saw it coming, but also was disappointed. I don't know. It was interesting. That's for sure. Because
yeah, I agree.
Like I can't say yes or no. That's a good or bad moment for me, because like it wasn't necessarily like. I had a feeling it was going to be something to do with Elsa because she's the only person with magic powers in this whole place. But I don't know. I don't know. She's not a spirit.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. It felt, I don't want to say forced, but like, I get the whole, I appreciate the whole like, hey, you're who you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a really good story.
Yeah, the power was within you this whole time. That's the same
like,
story.
You're good enough. It's not your fault. it's, you are good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a good story. It's a good arc for her character, especially because of how her character was in the first one. Like, these two movies are Elsa's movies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if making her the fifth spirit is where that needed to end.
No, to me, no, because like they have all this folklore and legendary about these four spirits, and then similarly, even though they know about these four spirits, they still have all this icon imagery, iconography. That was the word I was thinking of. They have all
There you
this
go.
imagery and iconography of a fifth item, and this fifth spirit. Why is it supposed to be Elsa if this like spiritual iconography is years upon years upon years old?
It's probably a trait passed down through the generations, and there is a chosen one who is that spirit. Um,
I'll give
probably
you that, but it's unexplained.
it is. I'll give you that.
Like
It's not explained, and that's the only explanation I can come up with off the top of my head. That's the only way to explain how there would be previous information of it. Though I do appreciate the whole like her getting there and it being empty and her mom's almost spirit being there for her.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like that scene.
Oh yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite scenes for sure. It's like her finally realizing that she's the one who's. Yeah, that was a very powerful scene, I'd say, for her overall.
Yeah.
It's just,
Her becoming the spirit, and then her also, I hate it. Her becoming frozen and then unfrozen. It just happens.
It literally just happens. Like, she decides that she's going to follow this storyline, but the storyline leads her to a place that for some reason is freezing her solid, but we don't know why it's freezing her solid. It's just kind of happening.
Because she went too far and drowned.
But
she went into Anna's fears. And like it's not explained how she gets unfroze. You understand it correlates by the fact that she freed the spirits. She helped the spirits, so the woods are free now. Anna frees them, so like Anna is free.
But
it's not really explained.
No, because simultaneously, it's like the spirits are what's attacking and freezing Elsa. But at least that's how it felt to me. It's like something is freezing Elsa solid. And the only thing that's magical is the spirits. But the spirits are trying to summon her to get her to help them. So why is it attacking and killing the only thing that actually knows the answer? Because we need the drama.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't really do that very well. That is probably the weakest point of the film, in my opinion. Also, Kristoff just being completely sidelined during this film kind of is like, he's a really enjoyable character in the first one, who actually does stuff for the plot. And then in this one, he's just bumbling idiot trying to propose.
But hey, all the girls in my theater freaked out when he finally managed to do it. Which I knew as soon as they brought up the thought that they brought up his story arc of him just wanting to propose. I was like, great, that's just going to be a running gag throughout the entire film. That's not going to be anything important until the very end. And none of his plot's going to matter. And it's true. That's exactly what happens. Pretty
much, yeah.
At one point, I legitimately thought he was going to fall in love with the other deer guy. Because he was... The way they communicated, it was just like, you make voices for the deers too? Yeah, it's because I just speak to them. Wow. They connected more on a spiritual level than Anna and him ever did.
In this film, the problem is they have a really good bond in the first film, and it's just kind of wasted in this film.
Which leads me to Anna. I didn't like her story arc. Only because she just seemed clingy, overprotective, and overbearing. Like she just had to be there for every moment, essentially. And then, finally, just out of nowhere, when she's forced to separate, she actually develops into her own person and has a character that like I can kind of enjoy. But at the same time, then it's just like, even though she managed to finish off her part of the story, and she was the one who essentially saved the day, like how does that gratify her becoming the queen? Like,
Because she's the only other heir to the throne, and Elsa doesn't want it anymore.
well, duh, but yeah, like it just once again was
yeah,
unexplained and kind of forced.
yeah. I think that's the biggest problem with this movie. Is just from a writing and pacing point, it doesn't quite do a good enough job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a better way to write this. We're not gonna do it
No.
unless you check out our news. No. Maybe someday we'll do rewrites because Steven keeps complaining about other films. So.
Yeah, it's when we do the Dreamcast podcast.
Yeah.
Well,
sure.
we'll do our rewrites and Dreamcasting all in one.
Yeah. Yeah. No. This movie just has issues with that, and it never really resolves it, which just kind of sucks because it's just Anna's just kind of. I don't want to say she's just kind of there because she does do stuff to progress the movie forward, but it's not as earned.
Yeah, like she's not important until like 3/4 of the way through the film, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so like, and she's only there. She's only in the area she's in because she kind of, like I said, clings her way into going along. And then when she's finally forced to go her own way is when she finally does something relevant for the movie, which only happens because Elsa fucking dies for no dumb reason.
Pretty much, yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
And speaking of which, since we're talking about Elsa, I hated how they fucking yada yada'd her to the point where it's like, she's drowning, and now she's saving Arendelle.
The magic horse, that's all.
It was a magic horse that traveled faster than a rushing broken dam, even though she was further north than the dam.
Oh, she was way further north.
Yes, but it happened at the same time, and she beat the rushing water on the magic horse.
It's because the spirit really tried and then slowed down as it got closer and closer, because it exerted a lot of energy to get there.
Mm-hmm. It's just like, yeah, this movie just, like I said, just doesn't try. It just like, this needs to happen for story. And then it happens for story.
Yeah, that's its biggest problem.
I'll be honest, the part that I thought was kind of cool was when she tries to freeze and run over the ocean. And,
that was awesome.
Yeah, I thought that part was pretty damn great. And that was the part where when she falls under and we get to see all like the little bubbles and things, when I was like, damn, is this real water? Like,
well, the fact that like she goes under the water and I can't quite tell which way is up and which way is down, and I'm like, holy shit, this is my nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Which, fun fact, if you're in that nightmare, follow the bubbles. That's how you get out. Follow the bubbles.
And if the bubbles don't move, blow more bubbles so you can just stick your head in there and be like, ah.
That's not how that works. If the bubbles don't move, you're fucked. That or you're under ice and the bubbles are under the ice now. Good luck.
I was just thinking you're encapsulated in a bunch of jello.
But you're not going to drown.
You can drown in jello.
But if you're breathing out, you're going to breathe out of essentially an area to breathe.
You'll just die of carbon monoxide poisoning, I guess.
And you can eat your way out then.
I'm going to look up now because I'm curious. Have people died in jello?
Yes, people have died in jello. People have died in anything. That's not a fair concept. The whole getting under the jello in the first place is the problem that you have. You know this, right?
So the first thing that pops up, if someone died in a pool of jello, would it be drowning or suffocation?
It's suffocation. Well, depends. Did they inhale it or not? That's where it comes into play. Because drowning is the, inhalation of water into the lungs, while suffocation is cut off from air into the lungs. There's a difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's the same exact thing, just slightly different.
One's that your lungs fill up with material because you could technically drown in dirt and sand. Um, Inhaling dirt and sand would be drowning in those. But suffocation would be like the inability to breathe. Because like you could suffocation is a lot longer too, depending on where you're at. So because you got to burn through all the oxygen you have where you're at first too. So depends how long it took them to die. Is really the answer. Not that drowning is the most peaceful way to go either.
I'd say no.
So, I mean, there's a certain point after you start drowning where your body stops struggling and then it just relaxes. But getting there is awful. So,
Yeah, that's the point when your brain decides, oh, I don't have enough oxygen. Okay.
yeah, pretty much. So, I mean, I don't know. Also, like, this movie's just weird.
That was a great segue back into talking about Frozen 2.
What'd you think of the Gecko?
He was adorable, but that's about it.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
I mean, I'm still kind of confused. Like, the fire spirit was explained by a gecko. The water spirit was a water horse. What's Gale?
Air.
Yeah. Air and leaves. Like 2 or 3 leaves. If there's 4 leaves, it's probably not Gale. Or it's an angry Gale.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know, dude. It's weird. Yeah, this movie just does not hold up as well to the first one. It's, again, if you like the first one, you'll probably like this one. But
you'll only like this one because you like the first one.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Because if you have an indifferent opinion to it, but also appreciate it as a good film, you won't like this one as much. That's how I'll put it. Mm-hmm. That's how I'll put it. So,
That being said, there's some bitter irony in me enjoying Olaf's song, even though it was completely unneeded in the context of the film. I just love that it was like, it kind of makes sense that like some of the things that you're afraid of in your youth become unreasonable fears as an adult, and you just kind of grow past them.
Fair.
But
it's true.
It was silly and stupid all the same.
Yeah, at least the other one, his story almost has more reason to the plot.
Which,
that's weird to say.
That was another thing I forgot to really say during the review itself, is a good part of this movie was just retelling the first movie as well.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Which, don't get me wrong.
There's a lot of that.
Like, Olaf became the guy in Ant-Man, whose name I'm forgetting.
Luis?
Luis, yes. Olaf became
he has a Luis moment.
Did you see the post-credit scene?
No, there was a post-credit scene?
Yes. It was Olaf continuing his little montage as Luis, but continuing it through the second story, like the second movie.
Oh.
And he's telling it to Snowball, the giant snow golem, and a bunch of little tiny snowmen. And at the very end, Snowball and the snow golem are like, "We're alive! We're alive!" And then all the snow little men are bouncing, and they're all celebrating, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because Olaf is just like, I'm the hero of this story, me. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
He's the drama in this story. And in some way, he kind of is the hero because he had the answer right away. Because they had to keep reminding us, water has memory.
Yeah. Man, that is drilled into your brain.
What if theoretically, we're all just water creatures who, like we drink ourselves to rehydrate ourselves. We're just skin on top of a water creature.
But we are.
Maybe.
Steven, we're 75% water, aren't we?
Yeah. And the rest is carbon.
Yeah.
But that,
All
yeah.
right, just making sure.
But I mean, like, if water has memory and we have memories, we drink the
stop.
water to create ourselves, and then.
Yeah, they really circled a life that one, didn't they? And this movie just pulls from a lot of Disney.
I mean, honestly, I was just the thing that kind of got me the most. Well, another one of the things that kind of got me was the fact that Elsa's powers involve being able to make memories now.
Yeah, they don't really explain that.
No, I mean, they explain it as water has memories, and she's using the water to create ice, but she can use that ice power to let the water communicate its memories somehow.
Steven, the more you think about it, the longer this segment's gonna go. Let's be honest.
I was about to say, the more you think about it, the more my rating's going to go lower. And I was like, that might be a good thing. But, okay, let's see. Is there anything else that I can think of that's silly that needs to be talked about?
Into the
No.
unknown. Into the unknown.
That honestly
Did you listen to that cover all the way?
I did, yes. I listened through all of the credits.
Fair enough.
And there was a lot of really good covers of songs in the credits.
Fair enough.
So, and they'll get that one theme, like that one little bit there, and how they kept reusing it in music and everything. That's one thing that I really enjoyed. I believe that's called a motif, if I remember my music right. And it was really nice how it just kept playing in different different songs over and over again.
Yeah, it was good. That was a good part of it. Too bad we don't have everything else to say about it.
Let's see. There's nothing else that we want to talk about in Frozen 2?
Not that I can think of, honestly.
Power flurries through the air into the ground. Okay. I still just remember Frozen 1 more than It's Unknown.
Yeah.
But, oh well. With that in mind, I guess we're done with our review of Frozen 2, and we're heading into the news.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Well, I'll be honest. I forgot to make a movie poster for next week's or next month. So,
All right, well, I will pull up the list then.
yeah, I know what movie we're watching next week, but...
Yes. Which, I wish it was the other ones first, but fine. We'll do these ones first.
I mean, I have a feeling that if we don't... Like, people are really enjoying Knives Out, but I haven't heard much of anything about the other movie, 21 Bridges, which we were watching. So...
Yeah, I know.
So I feel like we need to watch it sooner than later.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so December 2nd, we're doing Kill Hole and 21 Bridges.
Both of those are Chadwick Boseman movies.
December 9th, we're doing Not Another Teen Movie and Knives Out.
Can you guess whose week that one is and what the theme is?
It's Chris Evans' week. It was originally going to be Snowpiercer, which would have fit the month better, but Steven said no.
And yeah.
And Snowpiercer's a really good film, motherfucker.
It is. We can't have a bunch of good movies in 1 month, or else we'll have a really
We're
good
watching Cats that month. Fuck you. Though Cats is undetermined whether or not it's going to be good or bad. It's a chaotic fucking musical with no real plot, motherfucker.
Sounds perfect.
Nope, shut up. December 16th is probably one of the most important episodes for us. It is the Star Wars ranking week.
That one's gonna be. It. We haven't had some. I remember the last time we attempted something like this. It was Marvel Week, and
After that, sort of attempted. It was a cross between our normal show and a ranking week. Mission Impossible week.
That's also true. Mission Impossible week was both of the.
That one was far more chaotic because it was 5 movies that we did review each one in the 2 hours.
Yeah, watching 5 movies and reviewing all of them was quite ambitious of us at the time.
Yeah.
And then we decided, let's just stick to 2. Maybe we'll push
Pretty
3.
much. Yep. Yeah, Star Wars Ranking Week, we are watching all Star Wars movies that were cinematically released, including Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone includes that on their list, but we are because we're better than the rest.
Yes.
Some of us don't like the idea, but I'm not that someone.
I mean, I find it weird, personally, that we're ranking 10 live action and 1 animation film.
Okay, I'm going to say it's canon.
I get that. I get it. I get it. It's still a movie. It's a Star Wars movie, so we're watching Star Wars and ranking Star Wars movies. So
That are canon. None of the non-canon, so none of that fucking Star Wars Christmas special.
I was thinking that literally. Too bad that's not on Disney Plus.
God, if it does end up on Disney Plus, we're doing it next Christmas, right? Fuck. So yeah, we're gonna rank all of them. We have some bonus lists like we did during the Marvel ranking week. So look out for those, and we'll go through all of them. Because also, on December 23rd, we are doing one single film. Rise of the Skywalker, or The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see where that goes.
Yeah.
Is it real?
And
I'm really genuinely hoping that this movie is going to merit a nice long conversation about it. Because can you imagine a movie where we decide we're going to spend all maybe 2 hours of a podcast talking about this one movie, which is probably 2 hours, a little over 2 hours. So we're going to spend the same amount of time as the movie talking about the movie, hopefully.
We did that with Infinity War and Endgame. We almost hit that with Endgame unintentionally. Remember how long that show went? And we were like, shit, we're over the 2 hour mark. How are we still talking about this? It was because also, like, when we do the single movie, we do a little bit of the throwback to when we used to, like, literally talk the movie through and break it down scene by scene a little bit. Because it's a little bit easier to do that, and that is a film that we will do that with. And the other great part about it is, good or bad, it'll probably be a 2 hour conversation.
If it's bad, it's definitely going to be a 2 hour conversation.
If it's good too, we've had two episodes that have gone 2 hours just on one movie because how good they were. Infinity War and Endgame. They held up well enough that we could do a 2 hour conversation about one film. So no matter what, we can do it. And then finally, on December 30th, we have an undecided movie with cats. Yes. How we're doing this is there's the poll in chat. Also, the poll will be in the description of the video. It'll also be over on Twitter, and it'll be posted right after the show is off. You guys get to decide what movie we're watching with cats. The options are as follows: The Cat in the Hat, Sweeney Todd, Phantom of the Opera, and Rent. So
we have a feeling which one's going to be picked.
Don't even hint at it, because then it happens.
I'm just going to say that we have a feeling, and we're hooked on a feeling. But, hooked on a feeling.
No hooga chaka. No hooga chaka, hooga chaka, hooga chaka. Because you do that, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know this.
Every prophecy is self-fulfilling.
Pretty much. Look at the balance in the force. And that's how we will finish out the year. Yeah. Vote. It's on you guys. This is the first time it really is your guys' choice what movie we watch. We what a better way to finish out the year, honestly.
Exactly. Plus, we're getting everyone used to the idea of voting soon.
It should have already voted this month.
Yes.
Small elections matter. So your guys' choice on that one. Link will be in the description on the YouTube video. Link will be over on Twitter. Shit, I'll even put it over on the goddamn motherfucking Instagram.
That's impressive.
I know, right? Not that anyone's following it yet.
We got 3 followers, thank you.
We're the followers.
I was about to say, it's you,
four.
me, and
We've
Dupree,
got 4.
But...
You, me, Liz, and actually Tarhas, an old friend. Dr. T has followed. So, yeah, shout out to you, buddy. Miss you. If you ever see this, miss you. Yeah, that's all I got.
I've been looking for new stuff, and the only thing that I see that kind of seems of relevance, other than like box office things and people talking about Star Wars, there's talk of Godzilla vs. Kong.
Oh boy.
It's been pushed back.
Oh, what?
Yeah, the release date has been pushed back 8 months to November 2020.
Yeah, right, fine.
Yeah. So, apparently they need more time. I'm going to see if this article has anything to say about it. But I don't really know.
Damn it. I'm actually looking forward to that.
No, yeah.
I know I shouldn't be.
I kind of understand. Like, it can be good, funny moments every once in a while.
I've liked all of them so far. I think I'm the only one. Or at least I feel like the only one in some cases.
November 20th of 2020 is the official release date now.
Okay.
However, there's rumblings, it says here, that there's rumblings that Warner Brothers might just dump the movie onto their upcoming streaming service, HBO Max. So it's very well possible that they'll make the film and just not release it to theaters.
But they've been building up for it and all the post-credit stuff.
There have been rumors about the ever since Godzilla vs. the King of Monsters underperformed. And they're talking just how it's not quite good enough. It's not the release that they've wanted. So.
You guys gotta go see monster flicks, motherfuckers. Don't do this to me. I want my kaiju battles. Because these aren't bad. These two, the Godzilla King Kong and Godzilla King of Monsters, were not bad films, motherfuckers. Go see them. My kaijus.
The only thing that's keeping people out of watching kaiju movies is Mountain Lady. They need a Mountain Lady to fight the kaijus.
I want my kaijus. Don't do this.
Let's see. There's some other really kind of random things, like Black Adam's producers think that they want to throw Henry Cavill as Superman into Black Adam.
Please, because Henry Cavill said he's not done as Superman. If they let him, he will come back. He said that on different interviews. And you know what? His Superman isn't bad. It's just it wasn't directed from the right person. No offense, Zack Snyder. Like, I still do want to see the Snyder cut of Justice League because that's what people keep talking about. But I also think in better hands, Superman can be better done, and we saw that a little bit under Joss Whedon. He felt more real. Like, even though he came back from the dead, he was still, you know, he had more human elements,
Yeah, I get
I
you.
guess. So, you know, give him a chance. It's not his fault. That's all I'll say to that.
Oh, listen.
Oh, did you hear who's potentially attached to the Uncharted movie? On top of Tom Holland, who
No.
is apparently going to be playing Nathan Drake, which I'm in. You want to know who they might cast as Sully?
Who's that?
Last I heard, Marky Mark.
Marky Mark. As Sully.
Yes.
Marky Mark Wahlberg as Sully.
You had to look up who Marky Mark was, didn't you?
A little bit.
Fair enough.
It took me a moment to remember. I was like, Marky Mark. I definitely know who Mark Wahlberg is.
Fair enough. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that casting. I'll be honest. But, you know, everything else, you know, Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, I think he's witty enough to do it. So
I don't think Mark Wahlberg is smart, or not smart, I mean, wise enough, you know? Like, he doesn't
yeah, pretty much.
He doesn't portray the wise old con man to me. Like, who is the person I'm thinking of? Like, I know he's dead, but when I think of someone like Sully, I think of Powers Booth, the guy who played. Well, he's been in a couple of things, but he was in the movie Tombstone. He was in the Avengers. He was one of the guys in Deadwood, the TV show. What did he do in Avengers? What did he do in Avengers? I'm curious now. But, yeah, like, I just think of him as more of a chiseled old, like...
Well, he played one of the Security Council, in Avengers. And then it turned out he was part of Hydra in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Sorry, I'm a bit of a nerd.
World Security Council, I see it now, okay.
Yep. Yeah, I can see him as a Sully. He would have been a great Sully. Oh. Damn it. You're right 100% on that.
I'm trying to see other decent... Who are you dream casting?
Hear me out on this.
Okay.
They're rad.
Okay.
They're not exactly attached to anything right now.
Okay.
Because he's retired from a role that he's played since 1981.
Been retired for almost 30
No.
years?
No, the character keeps showing up, but he just recently retired as the character.
Okay.
He's got gray in his hair. He's really rad. He's battled in a lot of films. He's had a chainsaw for a hand. Motherfucking Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell. Sully.
Bruce Campbell is Sully.
He's charming.
Like,
He's already played a similar character in Burn Notice.
I was about to say, you haven't lost me, but you might need to keep pitching to me. Because I see it a little.
Watch Burn Notice, and then you'll be like, yeah, he's Sully.
Okay.
Watch a single episode of Burn Notice, and that character he plays is essentially Sully. So, he's my casting as it. God, someone do that. That'd be great. Oh my god, yeah, please, just make him... Yeah, I never even thought about it. Yeah, he should be fucking Sully. Without a doubt. Please. Because he's got the gray in his hair, like it's a light gray in his hair. He slicks it back, just grow out a mustache, and he's fucking Sully.
I mean, I guess I could see it technically.
Have you seen the Evil Dead film?
Yes, I have.
Alright, you've never... Watch Burn Notice.
Okay.
Watch a single episode of Burn Notice that he's in. He's in 111 of them. So you got to pick your poison. It's a tough, he's in a few of the 6 seasons that show had. Only in a few of the episodes. But watch an episode and you will be like, yeah, that is Sully from Uncharted. He even wears goddamn like the t-shirt Sully would wear in that show.
Okay. Well, okay. Okay. I'll look into it. I'll definitely look into that one then.
I think it's still on Netflix, if I remember correctly.
I'm just trying to think of any other, like, possible, maybe actors.
Honestly, I can't think of anyone else after I've decided on Bruce Campbell. Like, it's just like, as soon as I thought about it, I'm like, shit, that's Sully. He's even got the same, like, head structure as Sully.
The only other name that pops to my mind is J.K. Simmons. But I don't quite see.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's a fair choice. And it would be actually very meta if in that film they're working together, and then in the third Spider-Man film, those two are, at odds. I can live with that, actually.
Oh, just like a joke thrown in. What if Deadpool shows up and he's like, okay, J.K. Simmons?
Ryan Reynolds as Sully? If they're going for the young Sully?
I mean, I could already see it happening only because Ryan Reynolds is popular in Hollywood right now. So,
honestly, anything we've said so far works better than fucking Marky Mark. God damn it.
Maybe even John Cena.
I could see John Cena as Sully more than I can see goddamn fucking Marky Mark. I'll be honest.
I was about to say, I literally threw that out there just for shits and giggles, and you agree with me? Holy crap.
I know it's a shits and giggles joke, but you're not wrong. Let's be real. So, other than that, yeah, vote. So
yeah, vote so we know what movie we're gonna watch. Let's see. Apparently, Netflix bought a movie theater in Paris. A Paris movie theater, I guess is what it says here. Yeah.
Okay.
And just
Weird.
to save it from being shut down.
Oh, all right, that's fine. You'll say Netflix is only evil. It's
the last single-screen venue in New York that closed in August when the City Cinema's lease expired. But they negotiated with the landlord, and they will be able to use the Art House venue for special event screenings and theatrical releases of Netflix films.
Okay. Good on you, Netflix. Keeping a historic place alive.
Exactly. That's what they did. They're like, we're going to keep this thing going in New York, and they did it.
I'll give them credit there, where credit's due. I know it's easy good guy points, but it's easy good guy points, so... Good job.
Alright, well, that's all I've got. I've got nothing else new and original, or anything of the like. So, thank you for joining us, everybody, on this fabulous show of ours. Give us a like, follow, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, all that fun stuff.
All the things.
Yes. Follow us on Twitter, where we post about fun, happy things that we're doing. We've got a YouTube where we upload our VODs. I almost said vlogs, but where we upload our VODs. Join us on Discord, where you can throw in discussions and things that we could talk about. And just talk to us in general. Also, we do have an Instagram now. Eventually, we'll make a command for that. But we have Instagram. Yay!
I don't know if we need a command for it, but yeah, we have it.
Yeah. And, yeah, answer that poll, please. You got,
yes.
2 weeks at most.
Yeah, I set it to be turned off the day before the list episode.
Okay.
Or no, the day before Rise of the Skywalker episode. That's when the poll ends.
Okay. So yeah, you have until, I guess, 2 weeks from tomorrow, or from yesterday.
No, longer than that. You literally have a month, pretty much.
Figure it out,
until the 22nd of next month.
Tell us what we're doing. So vote and all that fun stuff. All right. Anything else, Steph?
Nope, that's all I got.
All right. So thank you for joining us this week on this fun and fantabulously musical episode of Critically Casual, where we didn't sing a damn bit, but you know what? We watched some musicals, so that's okay.
And that ends, and that'll also end sequels, reboots, and requels week.
You mean month, or whatever it was called?
Month. Shut up. You knew what I meant. Fuck you.
Fuck you, too. Goodbye, everybody.
Fuck you.
Well, that was just harsh.